Welcome to Microsoft Social Engagement Module 5, Working with Posts. My name is Julie Yak. So for our module agenda this time, it's going to be pretty full. First, we'll start with analytics. We'll talk about analytics within Microsoft Social Engagement and using Power BI to supplement that. We'll go through the Social Center, which will help us consume targeted posts. We'll see and learn how to build an activity map for that geographic view of any of the posts that we are consuming. And then we'll talk about social selling, where we can use the power of social to improve our sales. So for analytics, one might suggest that the entire experience in MSE is analysis of data, and that's correct. But if you've noticed, we've not talked about it much so far in our course, and that's because it's super important to make sure that we're getting the right searches to gather the right information for that analysis. But now that we're here in analytics, let's break down some of the pieces of what's available to us. So we're going to analyze our search results, right? So we've got this dashboard that you see when you first get into social. Once you've built the searches and you're gathering some posts, this is what you're going to see. You'll have your sentiment analysis. So we'll know what the current view is, what the index is, what kind of changes we're seeing. Obviously, our goal is to have as few negative items as possible. Then we're going to want to see the categories for our sentiment. We'll be interested in the volume of posts. It's important for us to know if we have something that's going viral, something that's getting a lot of attention. We'll see our phrases, and this will give us all of the phrases regardless of sentiment. We'll see things broken down by topic, so we can see volume and as well those trends. As you see here on our screenshot, we have accounts that are trending up and products are trending down. We have the location insights. So it enables us to see where things are coming in. Folks are influencers in different geographic locations. Are they all over the place? Sources can be important if we need to see that we're getting enough news coverage. Are we not getting enough news posts? Are we seeing a lot of activity on Twitter and so on? We'll see our authors, and this will help us to see our influencers. And then we'll see what languages we have selected in the results that are coming in those languages. Once we get down into the details, we can look at the sentiment. So in the sentiment analysis, we will see the location insights. We will see the history of the sentiment. So we'll see, are we trending up? Are we trending down? Do we have an overall positive or negative feeling for our search topics? The coverage, and for the coverage, I mean, are these sentiments coming in as given to us by the system? Are those ratings accurate? Have we been doing a lot of editing and correcting on those? We'll see the overall sentiment analysis. You can see we have those positive and negative phrases. Those are the ones that we're seeing the most in the posts that we are consuming. You'll see our sources based on sentiment. So you can see where the high sentiment analysis is, maybe some things that are not as good as we'd like. And then we can also see our top fans and our top critics. These are our influencers. We should be paying attention to these and perhaps building specific searches to gather information from those influencers directly. Let's have a quick look and a little tour here of the user experience of the analytics contained within MSE. So here we are in our main analytics screen, and we're going to take a tour here and have a look at what we've got contained in these little boxes of data all around. So starting here with the top right corner with the date, we remember that all of the information that we're seeing here on the screen are based on today's date. So if we have trends or things of that nature, it's based on the date. So let's change that and perhaps get a higher volume of posts that we're going to be evaluating with our analytics. You'll see here that we've got higher volume here. We have more topics that have been represented, several authors. Sentiment is available, categories based on sentiment. Let's jump into our conversations area. You'll see that we have similar items. We've got phrases available, history of phrases, trending phrases, and so on. We've got some intention analysis. We have some tags and some analysis with the tags. Not very many here yet. We're still working on it. We have hashtag details, and we have mentions that we have. You'll notice here we have this little icon, download the data into Excel. And that's not going to give us all of our posts. What that's going to give us is the data that makes up this visualization. So let's do one of these and have a quick look at what we get when we do that. So let's open this up. And what you'll see here is a summary of what we've got, but then here's where some of the value is. These are the words and phrases that are being used and the number of posts that use that to make up this word cloud. So we can see that the word CRM had over 1,000 hits within this time frame. We've got sentiment. You can see here with the sentiment history that we've got positive, negative, all over the board. You can see the trends as they go along. You can also click on any of these, and what will happen then is we'll have some responsive interaction with the application, and now it's going to drill down so that all of this remaining information on the screen has been populated based on that click that I had just done to request information on a certain time block. You'll see that I had clicked on something looking for positive sentiment, and so all of the posts that we're talking about here on the screen are the positive ones. We've got the filters that show up available to us here so that all of this will be responsive as well. So when I clicked on looking for that sentiment, all it did was it added that filter for me, and I can remove that and apply it, and it will bring me back to the prior version of the data that we were viewing for the analytics. So we've been talking a lot about posts, but what is the definition of a post within MSE? Well, post is any of that information that's coming in from an external source. So we've set up our search topics and we're targeting Twitter or Facebook or blogs or news articles, any RSS feed, any of those individual pieces of information that come in would be considered a post, regardless of whether it's a tweet that's 140 characters or a news article that's several thousand characters. And then once the information comes into social, we are applying some metadata to it on that import. We want to know the language that it came in and the sentiment within that language. So when you want to drill down and look at those posts, you can access that post information, the post list, from just about any of the analytics pages that we've been viewing. Any of those dashboard looking items, you'll see this post item on the right hand side that we can click through. When you're drilling down and looking at that post view, it's a raw feed of the data. So you'll get a handful, and then when you scroll to the bottom, you can continue to load more, and that's pretty much only limited based on your patience. It will load as much as you have access to. Within that post view, you can select items to do actions upon, or you can do a multi-select to multi-act. You might do something like this with a multi-select and multi-act if you had a large number of retweets that needed to have their sentiment corrected. So instead of having to do each one individually, you can bring it in as a group. When you do see a long post in that post view, you'll see the ellipses here at the end where it's been truncated. You click on that and it opens up the entire post for you right there within the window that you're looking at. You can perform actions on posts, and some of these actions will be a little bit different depending on the source of the information that's coming in, but you can change a label, you can assign a post to another user in your organization, you can edit or confirm that sentiment, you can remove a post, you can do a reply, assuming you have an authenticated account, a retweet, or a like, again, assuming you have an authenticated account. You can remove that post like I just mentioned. It's deleting the post, and that has consequences. There's oftentimes value in data, so I would caution against deleting something instead of finding a way to learn from it. But there may be an instance where you just need to delete it, so you have that option. So you can remove that post permanently from your social engagement database. It cannot be undone once an individual post is gone. It's gone. And removing that post does recoup the quota for that post, but again, it's just the one single item. So let's go through and look at the post view, and we'll see how we can scroll through and some of the actions we have available once we're looking at those posts. So as we dig back in and talk about posts, There are a couple of different paths to get to posts and how you can work with them. So let's go back to our social center here so that we can remember that we can see the social posts here and the streams that we have built. This is a completely interactive experience. We have actions available to us. We can add streams. We can edit the streams that we have. We can resize these to make them easier for us to view and work with. But I personally prefer working with the other view for posts. So let's navigate over to that additional view for posts where we can see all the posts that are going into our dashboard here. So we have several posts available. We can see that we can scroll through the post, keep on scrolling, and as we get down to the bottom, we can ask it to load more posts. You can see here that we have action items available to us, but they're not available right now. We don't have anything that has been selected. So let's select a post and now see these actions are available to us. If we wanted to select more and do group actions, we can do that as well. You'll see here that we have a sentiment rating on the post. You'll see that we have a reach rating on this author over here. We have the ability to assign the post to another user. We have several selected, so over here we can assign these collection of posts. We can edit the sentiment. We can apply labeling to create a link to Dynamics 365, and we can send a post with that link. You'll see here that we have truncated the content here, so we may not be able to see all of the information. It's simply too much information for us to see. So we click on that and we have more things that are available to us. We can expand details and see all of the information contained in that post. We can do a tag, make a custom tag, post the link, copy that internal URL, remove it if we'd like, and then we can tab here and scroll to the next post. So let's talk about the power of data analysis. Now we've looked at the post, we've looked at some of the dashboard items. Let's talk about the power behind the data analysis. With social engagement, we have the ability to analyze the percent increase in positive sentiment, the percent increase in positive sentiment by tweets, the percent increase in positive sentiment by tweets that have been written in French. We can analyze the percent increase in positive sentiment by tweets written in French from Canada. We could analyze the increase in the positive sentiment by tweets written in French from Canada yesterday. We can analyze the percent increase in positive sentiment by tweets written in French from Canada yesterday using our hashtag. We can continue to further that analysis by analyzing the percent increase in positive sentiment by tweets written in French from Canada yesterday using our hashtag posted by our influencers. That's a lot of information contained in our analysis, and we have the ability to dig as deep as we'd like to get to this information. In addition to the analysis that we have within the platform of social engagement, we can use the power of Power BI. The content pack for Power BI with social engagement does not offer you any further analysis into the posts. Instead, what it's offering is the analysis of your engagement with those posts. So you can keep an eye on what actions are being performed on the posts. Are we replying? Are we assigning? Are we adding links to Dynamics 365? And so on. So if your users in MSC are not taking any action on the post, you're not going to see any analysis in Power BI. And again, we're going to reiterate that this is not to analyze the content of social posts using social engagement. This is analyzing the actions that your team is taking on those posts. Configuring that connection with Power BI is just as simple as any other Power BI source. You get a wizard, steps you right through. You have the option here to choose how much data you're going to bring in. And that amount of data is directly determining how long it takes for that data to get in. So if you have just a day or two of traffic that you're bringing in, it won't take nearly as long as you're trying to bring in 10 days, for example. Things that you can analyze is you'll see the number of posts with actions and the number of actions. You'll see how long it takes your team to respond with the first action on a post. You'll see the volume. You'll see the external actions. You'll see which types of posts have been acted upon in a certain way. You'll see actions based on sentiment. Do you have your team responding to only the compliments or addressing any potential criticism? And you'll see things based on the authors of those posts. You get the full power of Power BI. And if you're not familiar with Power BI, you have many different visualization options available, not just the ones that came out of the box, but you have the natural language search. So for example, I've not built a visualization or a chart for how many posts are from France, but I can ask a question in that natural language, how many posts are from France, and I'll get an answer. And oftentimes I will get a visualization in response. Something that Power BI does is has a rapid release cycle. You're looking for a new visualization, you're looking for a different take on things. That Power BI team is giving us updates on a very rapid release cycle. Additionally, you can bring in a dashboard with Power BI and MSE into your Dynamics 365, so it can exist where you get that all-up view within your Dynamics 365 if that's the place where you're existing day to day. So let's talk about Social Center. The data analytics allow us to review data from an all-up view, and Social Center is where we can review post by post. So in our Social Center, we are building streams of content. So it's a way to consume those targeted posts. It can share streams with your team or not. You can have your own personal streams, and some of that is license dependent. You can color code. So if perhaps you want to have a stream that takes all of your positive sentiment and make it green, green is a happy color, or you want to have a stream that has negative content and that's red. If you want to have a stream that has sentiment neutral and make it yellow, then you can do those things. Color coding is for convenience for you. And what you'll use here is searches that you've already built. So if you want to tweak what you're seeing here, you have a few options, but ideally you would be building that search topic already in your organization and then just using the stream to consume it. To building a social stream, it's very simple. You offer it a name, you color code it and define some of your sorting and the different items you'd like, and then you choose your filters and your topics. When it comes to filters and topics, you have lots and lots of choices. So once you've built that stream, you can then start your first level of analysis here with the social stream. So you can choose your topic from any of those that are available that you've already made, and then you can apply those filters. You'll see lots of these here in the screen capture, and then when we go in and you do this as an exercise, you'll see even more. What happens is it will then produce a post list. When you first see it, it will be the narrower scope that we've been looking at, but you have an option here on the screen that will make it wider for you to consume more of it. And it offers you a list of actionable posts like any of those other lists that we've been looking at. And again, you'll be building one of these on the hands-on exercises that come with this module. So our activity maps. Activity maps give us a chance to have a separate visualization that is location-based. Pops out into its own window, which makes it ideal for public displays. Perhaps you're at a trade show and you want to show the live version of where your social engagement is happening. You can show that something you've done has been viral. Perhaps you've had a new release that morning at the trade show, and so on. Something to be aware of is it does show both the good and the bad. So if things aren't going your way, you may want to take that into consideration. Making a map, like most things here in social engagement, is fairly simple. You navigate to the activity maps, you click No, and then you define that map. Let's go ahead and jump in and make an activity map and then see how we can use one as well. There are two parts of the activity map conversation. So the first part is configuring them and making them, and the second part is using them. So here in our activity maps area, We've got the details for the maps that we have created. We could make a new one if we'd like. Let's have a look at the one that we've already created. So we've got a buzz map. We'd like it to default to in the last 24 hours. And we're not going to apply any filters at this point. We just want to be able to see the map. So we'll see that we've got 1,000 posts that match our filters today. And we can do any of these edits that we'd like, buzz or sentiment or any of those things for the map that we're going to view. Let's go ahead and open our map. You'll see that it opens in a new window. We'll maximize it. So now we're looking at our buzz map that we have configured. You'll see the globe, you'll see all kinds of dots. What is it that we're looking at? Well, we're looking at trends, and we want to see what people are saying about us in different areas. We have the option here to collapse the header and to give more space to the map. We have area filters we can build. We can change it from a buzz map to a sentiment map. You'll see that we've changed the colors. You'll see the sentiment analysis. We have a trends graphic here. We are reviewing 636 posts in this graphic. We have some insights that we can expand out. So we can see post details if we'd like. And it will load for us the posts that are being used to fill this. And when you hover over the post, you'll see where the item is on the map. So you'll see here as we hover over this post that we've got an item here in India that's been highlighted. We can close that and get that out of the way. And then we can come over here and get the insights. And this will give us our key phrases that are making up the map that we are seeing. And again, we can collapse those out of the way. Let's look at our buzz map one more time. We can click on this. And when we click on this, it will bring up the different posts for us. So if we find another dot and click on it, then the post will change and show us what's coming in from the various sources. And now finally, we'll talk about our social selling assistant. And we'll talk about that here in this module. And then again, we'll talk about it later when we talk through more of the machine learning. But social selling assistant allows us to help our users increase their social presence by participating in discussions that are related to their products or services. Selling Assistant is designed to allow salespeople to spend a few minutes a day growing their network and gaining trust via the different social media channels. Social Selling Assistant optimizes time spent by personalizing recommendation on content that can be shared. A curator will curate those posts and make selections available that will only send relevant items to the sales team. So social selling offers you personalized, intelligent recommendations and insights. You can access this either from Social Engagement or from Dynamics 365 for Sales. When installing social selling in Dynamics 365, it's something you get from AppSource. From AppSource, then you have some authentication you need to do in Social Engagement to make it an allowed domain. And then you will, if you forget to do that on your initial install and setup, you'll be given a reminder message to tell you that that's something you'll need to take care of before you can continue. Social selling allows you to personalize. This is something that works best if you've already configured social engagement for some of the content that your users would be interested in. By personalizing, users pick from the available search topics and social profiles to personalize their selling experience. The first time a user visits the Selling Assistant, they will be prompted to complete their user settings to share content and to get insights and social profiles. Sharing content and configuring topics that are relevant for you to amplify. Once you've got that set up, you can act on these recommendations. Users can act on recommendations within social selling. We have recommendation types such as promoted, owned, trending, and recommended. And you can see here where users can do things like view or say that they are done, share, and more actions. Within those more actions available, we can give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And that will feed into our machine learning algorithm that will then give the users more of the information that is targeted toward them. you can train it to give you posts that will be of more interest to you. Let's go ahead and do a quick demonstration of setting up social selling, and then again we'll see more about the machine learning aspect of this in a later module. So now as we go into our social selling assistant, let's have a quick reminder that what we can do with social selling is influence the machine learning, influence the ability for a team member to curate content for the sales folks to allow them to have more relevant content sent to them. So you'll see here as we first go into social selling, we've not personalized or engaged with this, but let's have a quick look at some of the content. We've got some recommendation for us. We have HoloLens has been trending. What we can do here with this post is we can say that we're done, we've consumed it, it's no big deal. We can share this post with someone, or we have other actions available. A retweet, a like, copy a link to our clipboard, and not interested. This thumbs up and thumbs down, this is what's going to give us the machine learning that we're hoping to get. So you'll see that we have several different posts available. We can view it in its original format. In this case, it was a tweet. Several different posts available. But let's go ahead and personalize this and see what we can get from our insights now that we're going to have it personalized. We're getting it tailored just for us. It's going to share content, get us insight, and manage the social profiles that we have. So now that we have pushed that personalization to start, it's going to continue to churn in the background and learn more about what post we might want to see. You'll see that we recognize that we don't have an Instagram profile set up, and we can click through directly here to work on that so that we can again curate more relevant content to us. We've talked about a lot in this module. We talked through the analytics that are contained within Microsoft Social Engagement, as well as analyzing those actions using Power BI and the Content Pack. We talked through the Social Center, and in that Social Center, the ability to consume targeted posts. We saw how to use and to make an activity map for a geographic view of those locations of the posts that we are consuming. And we began our introduction to social selling, where you can use the power of social to improve your sales. For this module, we have a couple of exercises for you. Exercise 1 would be for analyzing search and sources. Then you will build an activity map, and finally you'll begin your setup with Social Center.